Good morning. This is my review of a dash cam mirror type of thing. It's of the DuDuBell dash cam. So let's cut from having to look at me telling you what I'm going to do, and let's have a look first of all at the box. So this is the object in question. It's called Mirror Dashcam M1. DuDuBell apparently have made a number of models. If you look at the reviews, this is the one that claims to have, it says parking monitor, parking assist. There aren't any lines on the camera that I can see. It says gravity sensor. Sorry for the noise. But it's the one with the 7-inch touch screen. Okay, and it has GPS as well, and all of that from Amazon for £43 free delivery. Now, as well as the dash cam, I bought the hardwire kit so that it wasn't taking up the single cigarette lighter socket in the car. So it's hardwired into the fuse box, and I bought a 32 gigabit memory card, and I got all of them from Amazon. They came in one box. So what I've done is I've actually fitted it to the car, so I'm going to show that. And the specific car I fitted it to is a Dacia Duster. So later in this video, what you're going to see is a few little bits about the fitting to a Dacia Duster. So if you're getting this generically for any other vehicle, then that's not going to be particularly of interest to you, though you might see some of the things that are involved. A couple of little things before I go out is all the tools needed. If I flick this out of the way, drills, screwdrivers, a Torx bit to get some of the parts out, but quite importantly is this plastic material. It's actually stiff, I'm going to say nylon tubing, but I've no idea what it's made of. But this is used for feeding through behind headlining and other things. And if you're fitting it to a rear tailgate or hatch on a hatchback, then this may help you get the wire round funny corners. And so on the fitting video that I saw, although this was being used, the person doing the video didn't say anything about it. I didn't have this before, and I was very fortunate in that a very kind local garage, when I went and explained the problem, did give me that piece. That's very nice. The thing I wasn't able to pick up from the local garage though were the trim fixing plastic. I'm going to look for a broken one, can't see one. In the whole process, I only broke off 3 of those things that go into the trim. And this is interior trim, not exterior, so it's not flapping about. And I managed to have enough remaining on the parts for the parts to be held in place okay. But you do get a silly little plastic, don't know if it's in there, it's like a toothpick. No, it's not like a toothpick. A little plastic tool which they suggest is a crowbar for prizing back the trim. I used a wooden spatula from the kitchen, which I have since broken, and it's now in the bin, so I can't show you that. But the wooden spatula protects the car bodywork and paintwork. But the other thing I had, the cheap thing, it came with, it's a paint stirrer. It's a paint stirrer that came with some brush kit. But what it is, it's a fairly strong but much larger piece of plastic to use as a crowbar. So 2 things I'd say if you're fitting this. One is this material for feeding it through. Some people in the electrical industry call these a snake, but some means of feeding the wire through because the wire's not stiff enough. And a non-marking implement to use other than a screwdriver for prising off trim to get it in and to get it around the headlining or the pillar protection parts. And I found that very useful. And useful, it just happens to have an end that you can just about get under headliner buttons to prise those out. Those are hard. I was very lucky not to break that. I think that's about it for the bits that I think haven't been mentioned on some of the other videos I've seen. But let's go and look at the thing itself. This is the style of button used in my car's trim that's broken. That's the bit that clips into the trim, and that's the bit that you push into the bodywork to hold it in place. And by using the fit to fuse box kit, dashcam hardwire kit, which is that, I've managed to do away with the need for this long length of wire, which you would plug into a cigarette lighter socket and run all the way around. So we don't need that because it's hardwired in now. This is the rear facing camera put into the number plate lighting part. If I hold the key up against it, you can see it's really quite small. That size there is, sorry, let's get it in the thing, is about 1 inch by 1 inch. And it can be moved to different angles, but I'll show you another thing about viewing different parts of the scene behind you. Here we are in the cockpit of the car. I'll pause while a big wagon goes past, and we'll see what happens as I just turn on the ignition. The hardwire goes into a fuse. It goes into the windscreen wiper fuse, which comes on with the ignition. And what you see there initially is the rear view from the camera. Now the red wire to the reversing light, which provides an automatic rear view function, wasn't long enough, and I haven't yet connected that to the reversing light, so that's not connected up. But that's the screen. As you can see, it's a good size, and if I touch the screen, it's a touch screen. I can flick the camera round to the front view, and there's the front view that we're looking at. And after a certain amount of time, the picture on the screen will turn off and the mirror will function just as a mirror. There you see the menus gone off. Interestingly, the date was accurate. The time is about an hour out, so I don't know how it got the correct date and time. And you can see that it's now recording. Look, and that's gone off now. So what we have now is the rear view mirror function. It's a tinted mirror, but perfectly functional as a rear view mirror. And so that's really useful. So front and rear facing, very clear displays. Tap the screen. I'm really impressed with that display. Very clear indeed of the front, also of the rear. But this feature I quite like as well. So I want to see when I'm reversing. That's looking up a bit. Because it's a wide angle camera, I can sweep this down like that, right the way down. And what we're looking at now is the ground behind the camera. And so I sweep that up. The camera itself isn't moving. The portion of the image that's displayed on the monitor is moving. So that allows me to see straight back, showing the top part of the wide screen vision. And then for reversing, I can swipe down, and that would show me the bumper of the car behind me if I'm going into parallel parking to aid me with reversing. On this vehicle, that is a real bonus, and that's a real bonus. It does have GPS. I've had a thing with GPS before, and that's very useful when you put it into a computer to play it back. Okay, now that's the end of my, it says 1080p, it's done the recording, it's got the SD card in, it just clips over the mirror nicely, it's wide enough to go over, the front facing camera is adjustable. look for other reviews if you want to know any more about it. But let me say that for £43 from Amazon, next day delivery, just £43, I feel this is excellent value for money, and it's working really quite well. And I'm assuming that the memory card I've got in it is fast enough for it to record without any problem onto the memory card. Some people have noted some problems. I will pause now, so there's an actual little break in the video before I go on to saying a little bit about how I've wired it in.